Signs today that the metro Atlanta housing market is starting to cool down. The median home sale price in the metro Atlanta area dropped 2.5%, down around $397,000. In April, the market saw a 63% surplus for sellers over buyers. And a household now needs an annual income at least $120,000 to comfortably afford the median price of a home. All this doesn't mean it's getting any easier for many families. High mortgage rates and in the income gaps are keeping the buyer's market just out of reach for many. All right, let's talk about it a little bit more. Wayne Hiott joins us now. He is the president of the Greater Atlanta Home Builders Association. Wayne, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, glad you're here, man. Are you seeing a slowdown when it comes to new construction starting in our area?
We haven't seen a slowdown on new starts, dramatic slowdown on new starts. What we have seen is a continued lack of supply, inventory, and really just trying to get the municipalities to shorten their process to bring more lots to the market.
All right, so you're not seeing a slowdown as far as the new builds, but the inventory of what already exists. Is that what you're saying?
Well, what we have is the couple of factors. One, interest rates are just high sixes, and that takes a lot of folks out of the market. Different segments of the market are affected differently. Custom home buyers are not as affected as, say, first-time home buyers because they're trying to qualify and things of that nature. So as far as, what we're seeing, it's primarily interest rate driven demand, and the fact that there's just not a lot of new stuff for somebody to come and look and say, hey, I'm interested in that because my old house doesn't have that and I want that. So those are some of the factors that we see.
Gotcha. What are the incentives out there or any kind of benefits for people to buy right now?
The primary benefits, come in a couple of different forms. One, for the first-time home buyers, they're interested in an interest rate buy down of some description, be it temporary or permanent. The newer home buyers who are custom home buyers and or 55 plus categories, they're getting a lot of upgrades at reduced prices, and so that's obviously attractive.
Gotcha. Is the balance between supply and demand tipping toward the buyers, or only those who can truly afford those interest rates right now?
I would say that the supply and the demand, there's still a demand for new homes, but what we don't have is we haven't had a whole lot of resale activity. The resale market is kind of subsided a little bit, and it's not as vibrant as it once was. There were times when, a resale would go on the market and there'd be 10 offers, and that's just not the case. Although it is in some areas it happens, and not saying it couldn't happen, but it's just not as prevalent as it was, 3 years ago.
What's some of those areas that you're seeing that in? Do you know?
Really, we're seeing that in, some in-town, people moving in town, and by in town, I'm talking about, kind of the 5-county metro area. And then for the new construction, there's still the old saying, drive till you qualify. And that's what's happening with that.
Is still benefits out there for first-time home buyers? I know you were talking about the incentives for people who may have a home and then they're not getting the amenities that they may want that their home doesn't have. But what about first-time home buyers?
There are some programs out there for first-time home buyers, and they're driven by income and things of that nature. But they're kind of specific to entities that are offering those, such as kind of like the old bond programs and things like that.
Yeah. You mentioned people wanting to move into the what you call the metro area, meaning the 5 major counties around our area. Are there any places within those that people want to be in more than others? Are people coming back to the city? Are people just wanting to be in the suburbs? What are you seeing?
Well, we've really seen a lot of, in certain pockets, for instance, if you can find an older home in, in a desirable area that you feel like you can renovate or whatever, then, that sort of market is a little bit, is a little bit hot right now, because people are looking for a value, and, they could find a 3-2 ranch that, maybe was built in 1960, and all of a sudden say, well, you know what, I think we can make that work.
Yeah.
We can add this, add that. So, that's a market. There's another, other markets. Some of the municipalities within that 5-county area are doing some incentives for builders and developers to come in, and they're erasing lot lines and things of that nature. Gwinnett in particular comes to mind.
Yeah. All right, Wayne Hiott, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for your insight this morning. Appreciate you.